I am beyond excited to have my bestie, holistic intuitive coach and shamanic practitioner, Hasani Reyes. Hola, Hasani.
Hello.
my be-
Hola.
my bestie of 20 years plus. We started out in fashion together and then our lives evolved together in the most amazing way. Hasani is a big reason of why I am the person I am today. So I am forever grateful for her. Yes. Welcome. Thank you. And designers and clients out there, specifically designers, you're in for a treat because I invited Hassani in to speak to you guys about something that she blew my mind with. A couple of years ago, we had a client who was a repeat client, loved us, multiple projects together, and out of the blue, they turned on us. I was talking to her. Hey, girl, what's up? How's business? Whatever. Oh my God, Hassani, I'm so stressed out. This client we worked with for 5 years, they just turned on us out of the blue. And Hassani, in typical Hassani fashion, dropped the bomb on me and was like, girl, you know that designers trigger clients all the time. And I said, excuse me? And she was like, well, you know this with all the self help stuff. If somebody reacts to you, it's not necessarily to you, but is more about them. And I said, yeah, but like I never really applied it to my clients before. And she broke it down. So she named 6 potential ways that interior designers trigger their clients. And I'm blessed to have her on to break this down in the only way that Hassani knows how to, which is simple, elegant, beautiful, and is going to blow your minds too. So let's get into it. That was a big intro, Hassani. So if you want to say anything before we get started, go. and
Well,
also
thank you.
and also bless us with a little ritual that you want to get started with too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me, girl. I'm so happy to be here. Hello.
Thank
We're
you.
finally
Thank
doing
you.
this. We wanted to have our podcast together and I was too much of a chicken. So thank you for having me. And I want to clarify something and
Yeah.
just to put it out there. It hasn't been 20 years plus. It's been 25. Okay.
Okay. Thank
You
you.
better
Thank you. I
honor
take it.
that.
I take it. I
Okay.
take it. I take it.
Okay, let's not do 20 years plus. It minimizes health, and I'm not into that. So
And wait,
25 years of friendship.
and let's add to that. In a couple of lifetimes, obviously, we've been together in other lifetimes.
Oh, well, that's understood, right?
Okay. Oh, sorry.
That, that, that,
Sorry. Sorry.
that's understood. So I just want to clarify because 25 years is a big deal,
Yeah.
especially in friendships. As we
Yes.
get older, we met in our when we were adults. So that's really difficult to maintain a relationship and a friendship
Yeah.
in adulthood. So thank you for being my friend, girly. I
Thank
love
you.
you.
I love you more.
Mm, yeah, beautiful. So thank you again for the introduction and for having that aha moment at the time. I think it was so funny when you called me and you were like, "Oh my God, this is what's happening." I'm like, "Girl, please get it together. We know this stuff." But obviously you were in it, so you couldn't understand. But yeah,
Yeah.
but before we get into this, right, it is always within my code of ethics and then how I lead any sessions or any conversation, and is by starting to ground ourselves and honor the land that is holding us. So we have to give reverence. So let's close our eyes wherever you are. And let's take a moment to just be with ourselves and honor the silence that we can create within ourselves. And I want to take this opportunity to honor the land that holds us. Gala and I are in New York. This is the land of the Lenape, the ancient people of this land, and we want to honor them today for holding us, for giving us permission to be in this land, for allowing us to be here today. And I want to take a moment to honor the elements that holds us as well, that gives us life, that allows us to be here. The spirit of the air, the wind, the spirit of water, the lakes, the oceans, the spirit of earth, Pachamama, Madre Tierra, that holds us today, that allows us to have a physical form and a physical world, and to the spirit of fire, the sun, that allows us to have warmth. And then last, to the spirit of love, the center of our bodies, the center of the human spirit and the center of the universe. Let's give reverence to love as well. May we be guided in this conversation with love, fun, and realness. Thank you.
Amen. That's gonna
Nos
be a
vamos.
first. So that's gonna be a
Nos
first.
vamos.
Wow.
We're ready.
Vamos,
Nos
ya,
vamos.
ya, ya. Vamos a bochinchear un poco. No.
Vámonos al
Um,
bochinche. A chismear. Con
a
post
chismear. So, all right, so let's kick it off. Let's just give like a little base ground to kick this conversation off before we get into the specific ways that interior designers might be triggering clients. And you had mentioned something about looking at like the history of interior design. So, do you want to start there?
Yeah, I think it's also when we look at triggers, right? When we look at what are the things that are being activated within us, with this fear, love, compassion, empathy, we need to look at the root of it or the history of it. And when you spoke to me about that situation, when it came to your client and how you felt in terms of what was triggering your client, I thought about the history of interior design. If you really look at the history of it, it's all about in the past, historically, interior design was really limited to very wealthy people,
Mm-hmm.
very, very wealthy people that outsourced that support. It didn't mean that they had incredible taste or they had a design eye. They were just really wealthy people that had access to such incredible service, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they will outsource that service. So they will put all the trust into the interior designer that was the expert. And they will pay a whole lot of money
Yes.
to get that expert to tell them what they like.
Yeah.
Okay. Fast forward to modern times where with the expansion of interior design, access through social media, you know, all the different HGTV shows, giving access to people and giving them permission to also feel like mini designers themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about that perspective and then adding the emotional, spiritual, and cultural perspective to that, which is mainly people that are not wealthy, probably middle class, upper middle class, most likely came from middle, working class, and upper middle class families, right? Their level of design or their exposure to design was through probably their grandmothers or their mom or someone within the family or the home that they grew up in, right? So for them, there's an emotional connection to design because that's how they grew up in their spaces that they grew up. So now we are including them in that experience through social media, to giving them
Mm-hmm.
access to what is interior design. So something gets activated within the person. He's like, oh, I have a good eye, right?
I could do
And
this.
I can do this. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, my mom was a great designer. I love the way my home felt. I'm going
Yeah.
to take some aspect of that emotional connection to design and I'm going to bring it into my home. And now I have access to more wealth. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
hire an interior designer and they're not hiring you or designers to assign or to outsource the design. They're
Mm-hmm.
hiring you to collaborate in
Yeah.
design,
Yeah. That's
right?
definitely a type of client. It still exists, the high-end client that's like, here, run with it. But absolutely, a new client has entered into the building. Yes.
Exactly. So what happens is, think about when a new generation enters a service. Say now there's got to be a psychological and a mindset shift that needs to happen with
Mm.
the provider to the new generation that's coming in into the design world. So there's got to be different conversations, different mindset, different approaches, different collaboration, and different co-creation that needs to happen in
Yeah.
order for the relationship to be created based on trust, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because wealthy clients, they don't have time to
Yeah.
be co-creating and collaborating with the designers, right? They're like, you are the help. I'm
Yes.
hiring you
Yes.
to tell me what my taste is.
100%, but they can still get triggered too. Because this particular
100%.
client was a very wealthy client. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, I want you to also think about historically, was that client wealthy, generational wealth, or was that client new wealth,
Knew what
right?
right.
So,
Right.
so that
Yes.
client, maybe if they're new wealth, they're going to have more triggers about
Yeah.
their emotional connection to their design versus the very wealthy client that has been used to outsourcing that. It's going to be a different reaction, a different partnership, a different co-creation, right? They might be
Mhm.
more hands-off and versus the one that is new wealth that has the money that still comes from a background where they feel very connected to design or that
Yeah.
emotional connection. They want to co-create. So they're going to be
Yeah.
more triggered than the other ones. So for you, in that sense, what I would say is like, we always have to look at the big picture. Who
Yes.
are we designing with? And what is the emotional connection that they have to
Yeah.
design?
The second thing I wanna ask before we jump into these 6 triggers that you defined is, how much do you think of this is just people with bad behavior, angry people? They could be rich, middle class, whatever, just people that are angry, right? Because hurt people hurt people. And the idea that at the end of the day, an interior designer is hired help. And this is how you can treat the help. If you're raised a certain way, I would say improperly, how much do you think of that plays into it as well?
Yes, that plays a big thing because it's also how you have to understand it's also how people feel superior. So
Right.
it's the same thing when people go to a restaurant, how they treat the servers.
Yes. Yeah.
It could be in a
You
very
could get that
expensive
same kind of
restaurant.
person. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's universal in the sense that humans are unpredictable by nature
Yeah.
and they tend to be triggered by deep insecurities, right?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
treat someone that is supposed to be the help, I hate saying that, but
Me
the
too, but
server,
it's a thing.
right? Well, we have to be honest. We have to be super
Yeah.
transparent about language too. But if you treat the help, if you're rude or you're not considerate, right? That says more about your behavior and your character than the server. The
Mhm.
server is doing
Mhm.
its job. The designer is doing their job.
That part.
So right. So has nothing to do with the service that you are providing. It has a lot
Yeah.
to do with the person's character and their insecurity. Because
Yeah.
insecurity is what hurt people. Most hurt people don't hurt other people because they know exactly the pain that they carry. But insecure people,
Okay. So that's a
specific
distinction.
insecurity,
Yeah.
right? So insecure people that have a loss of power, right?
Mm.
And they don't understand themselves, they are
Mhm.
going to be so condescending and they're going to put you down
Okay. And
because
that's
that's
the
how they uplift themselves.
and that's the perfect segue into the triggers, and one of the main themes is how an interior designer unknowingly could make a client feel insecure. At the end of the day, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Um, boom, I
Yes.
just connected the dots again. So let's get
Well,
into the first
take a
one.
moment for
Well,
that. Take
so
a
I
moment
just
for that. Shake it up, girl. Let's
so
shake
you
it
just
up.
have this way of breaking things down. All right, so let's get into the first one. Interior designers. One thing that we can be doing without even knowing it, without it being our faults, without it being a reflection of us and our worth and our work, is making the client feel like they're cheap when it comes to the budget that you're proposing. So it's pretty easy to understand, but if you want to elaborate on that, Hassani, I invite you to.
Oof. We're going into the money world.
A whole other level that we touch on as interior designers. It's a lot. It's a
Yes.
lot.
We're going into the money arena, right?
Mm,
Another emotional pain. Like
mhm.
it's like, oh, Now you're going to question my budget. Now you're going to question, do I have enough?
Mm.
Can I afford you? Right? Now you're
Or
going to
or
question my wealth.
you're gonna tell me what I have to spend, right?
Right. Well, but that's also a trigger because let's say that someone has an idea of what is their budget in their limited way of understanding interior design
Yeah,
because they think they know. So now
right.
they have a budget. Oh, okay. And now you come in and you give them the best in class, what you were hired for. You give them a proposal. This is what it looks like if you get these materials or whatever. Now, this person, it's already going in with a perception that this is their budget, right? Now you come at them and you present them with a higher budget, right? Something that is exceeds what they think in their mind. Now, what do you think you're doing? You're questioning their ability to understand budgeting.
Mm,
And then you're saying to them, well, this is what you want based on what you desire. This is what's going to cost. They're not seeing that what they're getting what they want. They're not seeing
right.
that they're getting what they need. It only looking at the dollar sign of the amount of money that they're going to spend that is completely different than the budget that they assigned to the so-called, this is what I want and what I need.
And for
So
a
you
lot
as
of
the
people,
expert,
yes, and then for a lot of people, you become the enemy, and meanwhile, us interior designers are over here like, "No, we're the experts, we know what this costs, and we're trying to help you," and say, "Hey, this is what it really is," you know what I mean? Like, we're not trying to pull one over on you. So already there is a mismatch in energy.
100%, because remember, I want you to think about it from an emotional perspective.
Yeah,
Person has an emotional connection to their budget. That's
of
what I can
course.
afford. And now you come at them and you say, it's higher than what you can afford. What do you think is going to happen? Think about it. If I come to you and you say, hey, Hassani, I want to hire you, and you have a budget in mind, I want to hire Hassani because she is definitely the person that I feel very connected. She gets me. I want to hire her. And
Mhm.
then you have a budget in mind. And then I come at you and say, well, this is what's going to cost if you want the value that I offer. And then the cost is like twice as that.
Yeah,
Now you think I'm the bad guy because I'm like, you chose to work with me.
yeah,
Now I'm giving you a budget that is going to be connected to the value that I'm adding to you. That
yes.
got you to me for the
First
first
place.
place anyway, right? So
Yeah,
now I'm coming at you and be like, this is what I'm worth, right? This is
yeah,
what the job is worth. Now you're going to be resentful because you're like,
yeah.
I wanted to work with you. Now you're giving me this massive budget. Now the person is triggered because they might not be able to afford it.
To afford you. And I wanna clarify that this is not every client, but this happens with
No.
some. Others, you give them the budget, they're like, "Oh my god, thank you so much. This is, like, so clear. I clearly under budgeted. Let's move forward." But just for other people that have maybe money issues or need to be right or whatever, this becomes a trigger. And as a designer,
And
you're just doing your job. And
yeah,
again, it's not has nothing to do with you. I'm gonna keep repeating that over and over for the designers that are listening. It has nothing to do with you because myself and so many colleagues, we've had so many conversations when we go out to dinner. The first thing that comes up is a client that's horrible, that this designer is on a project for a year, that they're losing sleep. And it has, at the end of the day, 99.9% nothing to do with you. So you're going to hear me saying that over and over because I want this to help designers suffer less. And I also want to help potential clients be illuminated and be like, "Oh, maybe I'm acting like this because of this and this," so that we can, at the end, just collaborate more peacefully. Who doesn't want that, right?
yeah. And I also want to clarify something. When I talk about money, it has nothing to do whether you're super wealthy, rich, middle
Yes.
class, upper middle class.
Mhm.
Money is a psychological trigger. You know, I read The Psychology of Money, and it talks about how sometimes billionaires are always
Mhm.
looking for bargains. And billionaires, millionaires, middle class, working class, every single person, I don't care how much money you have, every single person always wants a bargain, whether they show it or not, whether that is their incentive or that is their focus, I don't care. Money
Mhm.
is a psychological thing. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with how much we have. If money would have been something that it's easy to handle, we would not have these billionaires hoarding so much money because
Mhm.
of the fear of losing it all. So it has
That's a
nothing
whole
to
other
do with
I feel like that could be a whole other episode.
but what I'm saying is like it's not about what client is cheap or not.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter how much money they have in the bank. It's a mindset also, too. Okay, cool. So that's number 1. Number 2, you said Gala. They could be feeling like they don't have good taste or a good eye to see what you're presenting to them. So they question your design. Designers, how many times have you presented something and your client goes, but are you sure about this? And you go, if I wasn't, it wouldn't be in the proposal. And to you, again, it seems so clear. Why are you questioning me? This is what I'm putting forth. I think it's amazing for you. And they're questioning. So let's get behind that. And you said it very clearly. They're feeling, again, I guess this one goes back to insecure, like they don't have good taste or they can't see it or, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's again, it's what I said historically before when you are designing with someone nowadays, it's
yeah,
co-creating, right? It is
yes, yeah.
it's a very inclusive process, right? And the person
Mm-hmm.
has an idea in their mind of how they envision their space and they're trying to articulate that to you, the
Yeah.
designer. And now you're trying to read their minds and
Mm-hmm.
trying to articulate and put together in the best possible way, in the
Yeah.
best visual way of what is it that they really want. But
Mm.
that's an impossible task
I would
because you're
say
not
most of
inside the mind.
I would say most of the time we're listening to what they think they want and delivering what they really need and want. So sometimes even what they're showing us, the inspiration, isn't where we end up going. But it's like a starting off point. And I imagine, yes, for a particular person, it could feel, oh, I'm not getting this or I'm not seeing it. And so I'm going to start questioning. Again, so money mindset and insecurity is 2 reasons why this could be
Yes.
happening, right?
And it's
Okay.
also an attack on their taste.
Right. It's
And
what
and
you
when
don't
you are
get this, you don't see this. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
in that moment, they're like, but what that's not what I envisioned.
Yeah.
She doesn't get me, or he doesn't get
Mhm.
me, they don't get me. So there's a back and forth and a control thing. It's like, okay, so
Mhm.
how do I make her see what is it that I really want? Why is she presenting me with things that I don't want? But you know that's what they need in order for the
Yeah.
design to come in and be the best that you can offer them.
Yeah.
But in the mind, again, it's an emotional connection.
Mm.
This is my vision. I know what I want,
Mhm.
hiring you to deliver
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you question that, then what's wrong with me?
Right.
So it
Bam.
has nothing to do with you as a designer, and it has nothing to do with designers interpreting what is it that the client wants. It has to do with the client's interpersonal and emotional connection to the vision that they have
Mm.
and letting go of that vision and
Yeah.
trusting the process
This
of co-creation with the designer.
and again, we're on the other side of this going like, "Oh my god, I gave this my all. I'm so excited. This is perfect for you. What do you mean you can't see it?" It's again another such a huge disconnect. Okay, so cool. We're just getting going here. All right, so number 3, this one's big too. And it has to do with the fact that you're a coach. Somebody pays you to get into the intimate details of their life and coach them. We are in people's homes. Aside from being in somebody's brain, the way that you are, I don't think there's any more intimate of a place that you can be in, other than maybe a sex coach, as an interior designer that is in your home and in your space. And this one's related to that. So you said, Gala, maybe they're feeling out of control because someone is in their space. So let's break that one down.
Listen, spaces hold so much energy, right? It's just insane how humans are very connected to their space in a way
Mhm,
that is very intimate to them and it's also very private to them. And especially when you go into someone's home, right? Get
mhm.
to see their secrets and you
And that's
get
what
to
we do every
see,
day. That's what we do
right,
every day. Yeah.
right. You get to see their secret lives, right?
Yeah.
How do they operate in their own homes? What are the things that work for them? What are the things that you can see as a designer that's not working for them? Such an intimate experience when you go into someone's home to not criticize it, but to sort
Mm-mm.
of give feedback in order for to improve
Mhm.
the look and the functionality of that home. So that is where the pushback is going to be. Because, like I said to you in the past, now it's a new generation of people that are co creating with the designers. Now you're coming into their home, there has to be a level of trust that has to be
Yeah.
built. And so, if that trust is not built between the designer and the client is always going to put up a wall. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, how much access am I going to give this designer that doesn't know much about me? Right? How this
Mhm.
person is coming into my home and is going to critique my home.
Yeah.
So they see it as a criticism rather than a constructive way of looking at their home from a different perspective.
Or again, the interior designer, "Hey, we're over here. We're just doing our job of what you paid us to do. We're just trying to do what you paid us to do and help you." Ah.
Yeah, but exactly. But it's the same thing with when I meet with a client for the first time.
Yes.
The way that my clients feel with me the first time is very different than the way my clients feel with me the 10th time.
True. True. But then let me ask you
And
this
you're
question. Can I ask you a question though? A follow-up on that?
sure, sure. Yeah.
What about in my case, it was a client that I had worked with and done multiple properties over the course of 3, 4 years, and then she flipped. How do you
Yeah,
explain
but
that?
because that was a client that you've done work 4 years ago, a couple of prior. So you met a different client.
Because people change, people evolve, people have other things
Exactly.
going on in their life. They're stressed, they might lash out even though they haven't. Yes.
Yes. I'll give it
Yes.
to in your personal life. You are a mom. You're
Yeah.
not the same mom that you were when your baby was born,
Yeah.
than the mom that you are now
Right.
to your toddler, right?
Right.
So I always tell you, Gala,
People
people are
change.
unpredictable by nature.
Yes. And I'm just the good, innocent soul here that believes the best in people, but then
But you better get out of that shit because that's not working for you.
no, you've put me enough now to know better.
You're the
Um,
one with the problem.
get on
Get
board with
over
the
it.
world, Gala. All right. This one, all of them fucking blew my mind off. Okay. It's just like, it's so good. Okay. Ready? Feeling like they won't be able to upkeep the space as good as you left it because of childhood trauma. Let's unpack that.
Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Woof. Ay, Dios mío. That's
See,
a big one.
see. But
Yeah.
there's nobody better equipped to handle that than you. So, vamos.
Well, here is how interconnected and complex this is, right? Because there's
Yeah.
so many layers to what you're asking and what we
Yes.
want to open up here. There's the layer of cultural. How was that person raised? What was the expectation of maintaining their homes, cleaning, or that level of domestication? Then there's the layer of adulthood. Who are they in their adult life? Are they able to maintain? Do they have a routine in their houses? Do they don't care much about maintaining their house because they rejecting their level of domestication that they had to experience in their childhood? So there's so many layers to that experience that when you go ahead and design a home for someone and now you present them with this beautiful final design, which is almost like a picture that
Mhm.
lives. It's like, how we watch movies and we see
Yeah.
the ending and it's like, we don't see what's going to happen after, but
Yeah.
we believe that the ending stays in a picture,
Like
right?
that. Yeah.
It's the same thing with when you hand over a final product. Now you
Mhm.
hand them this beautiful picture of their reality. And then they look at the picture and now their house starts getting messy and not looking like the picture, the
And
rendering.
anxiety, and it's anxiety, and it's stress, and it's wow,
Yeah,
that's
think about
crazy.
it.
No,
Think
it
about it.
makes perfect sense, but it is a wild thing to conceive of, but it makes perfect sense because the
Yeah,
mind is gonna mind, you know what I mean?
the mind is going to mind, right? And it's also
Mind is
going
gonna
to
mind.
trigger
Yeah.
whatever it is that you were experiencing. So now, let's say that as a child, this person, your client, had to keep their bedroom clean when they were little,
Mhm.
but they hated
Mhm.
that. They couldn't
Mhm.
find anything when their bedrooms were clean. They could find everything when their bedrooms were messy. But their moms or their caretakers would make them clean the room. And then when the room was perfectly clean, they didn't feel connected to that room,
Mhm. Mhm. 'Cause that does exist 100%. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now, let's say that that's the client, right? Then now you present them with the most beautiful home or office or whatever it is that you're working on. Now that triggers that moment in time when they were little that they
Yeah.
had to keep their rooms clean and now they couldn't find anything. That goes for offices too. When you design a
Yeah.
beautiful office and then you tell them you got to remove all that crap that you have, put it away. These are the storage that I created for you. So you put that shit away. Now it's like, no, I need all my papers on top of my desk. It's
Yes.
resistance, right? It's
It
resistance.
is.
Again, it's a trigger, right? It's
It's
like, no, I'm not doing
resistance,
this.
and yet you've paid me, hundreds of thousands of dollars to not make it like this, but you're gonna make it like this. It's like,
It's a mind fuck, right? It's
oh,
crazy.
wow.
It's just
No, but this brings
crazy.
so much clarity, and anybody that listens to this is gonna be like, "Oh my god." The human mind is crazy. Let's just put it that way.
Insane.
In a beautiful way. And luckily, we have coaches and intuitives as brilliant as you that can break these things down because, no average person could come up with this stuff. So, thank you for shedding
Thank you
light
for
on it.
hyping me up, girl.
Thank you. You're the best. If anybody needs a coach, this is your woman.
Yeah, I need
Wow.
to hold on
Wow.
to this. Keep it coming.
You know I'm always your biggest hype person.
Mm.
All right. So, number 5, coming in at number 5. You might trigger a client as an interior designer because they don't trust themselves enough to trust you. Let's unpack that one.
Wow, you just keep giving it to me. I mean, what do you think? I'm
I'm
like
giving
a
it
wizard?
you. These were all yours. So chop it
Damn,
up.
well,
Chop it up.
just give me a break over here.
This is all your genius. So I'm just asking you to elaborate on it, on the bombs that you dropped on me that day.
Cut me a break.
Hopefully, you don't have too many sessions after this.
I have one coming up anyway, but oh, trust. Let's go back to what I said earlier. Like, what is the level of trust that the designer and the client has built and established? And what
Yeah.
does that trust looks like?
Mhm.
So let me ask you the question.
Yeah.
How many conversations do you need to have with a client before the client says 100% yes, signs the contract, and you now are going to be the expert designing their home or their office or their commercial spaces? Like, how many conversations have to happen before that
Is
takes place?
usually one or two conversations and, one proposal for me. Every designer works differently.
Okay.
Yeah,
So think about what you just said.
yeah,
How many opportunities to build trust have you had so far?
very few, very few,
Okay.
and it goes both ways, honestly, because we're also interviewing and feeling out the client. I think for somebody like me that feels and reads energy, maybe even somebody that doesn't, you usually, either, hit it off or vibe with somebody or they say something and, you're like, "Alright, cool." We're on the same page. At the same time, there's always curveballs. And I think this goes back to the reminder of that's because humans are unpredictable. So even in those first two conversations, it's kind of also like dating. It's like hot and heavy at the beginning. Some of us are on these projects for 2 years. 2 years into a relationship, it ain't hot and heavy anymore. That's
Exactly.
when the real person comes out. And on
Right.
these longer projects, that could also be like just a natural progression of how things happen. And that has nothing to do with you. It's just that the dating period's over and now the real deal is coming out. And then when you add the stress of budgets and construction and delays, and it's a hot pot. It could be a potential hot pot. So yeah, that was a long-winded answer
No,
to
no, that
trust,
was
but
not long winded at all. But I also think that you had some very valid points. It's like, think about how long does it take you to build trust, right?
yes.
And also building trust requires a level of misunderstanding. And
Mhm.
how do you resolve,
Work through that. Yes.
work through that? And trust demands for you to be ethical and the
Mhm.
client to be ethical. Also,
Mhm.
trust demands for transparency and
Yeah.
truth and honesty and not withholding information that the
Mhm.
other person
Mhm.
might feel that they're not being exposed or included. Honesty demands inclusion,
Yeah.
partnership, collaboration, truth,
Mhm.
transparent. So
Mhm.
if all of those components are not there, one or two or three are missing, there's going to be a level of distrust that
Yeah.
needs to continue to be built. The first 3 points of contact with a client, it's almost what you said, like the dating, and then it's like, oh, I'm dating with this, like I'm having a connection with this person. It's a little
Mhm.
bit of a honeymoon stage. Then it's
Mhm.
like, okay, who the hell are you?
Yes. Yeah.
And what are your triggers? What are you
Right.
bringing into the mix, into this
Right.
partnership? And that's when you get to know the person and you get to know the
Yeah.
client. And I think that using the filters of trust, which is
Mm.
transparency and all of the ones that I just mentioned, can also be a really good, almost like a cheat sheet about how are you going to be able to build trust with a client. Or do I feel that I could be transparent with this client? Is this client open-minded? Is this client open to receive feedback? Or what is my approach with this client? What is the level of sensitivity that this client has?
Yes, that's huge. Like, one of the questions that we now ask if it's a construction project is, how do you handle things going wrong? Because things are gonna go wrong. And when they do, ideally, you want a client that doesn't freak out because they've, again, hired you to deal with it. You know stuff is gonna go wrong. You know you can handle it all. You're not worried. You're not worried. A million things can go wrong on a job site. As a designer, you're not stressed. But if you get a client that is highly stressed and is gonna jump at every single thing, then you've just doubled, tripled, quadrupled the workload in the amount of stress that's gonna come on the designer, even though the designer is not stressed at the initial thing that's causing the stress. Does that make sense?
Yes, because you trust the process, you
Right,
understand the process.
right,
They
right.
don't,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So it's again,
S
it's like it has to be established that
So
trust.
if I came to you as an interior designer and I had 3 clients that were particularly triggered in this way, how would you coach me? What would you say? We know that a lot of it might be about them. Maybe somebody they hired took advantage of them, so it's an easy trigger for them to trust somebody. But a lot of the times when patterns happen over and over, you see the same type of issue happen, you also have to look at yourself. So if I was an interior designer and came to you as a coach and I said, "Look, my past 3 clients have had issues trusting me and questioning me," it might be about them, but if it's about me, what could I be doing better? Or why does this keep happening to me?
Is the energy that you're attracting, right? What is the energy that
Mhm.
you are projecting on them?
Mm.
Maybe the last three clients, your emotional state has been deregulated, right? So
Okay.
maybe you're not grounded, or you might be going through challenges in your personal life. You
Mhm.
might be having some challenges in your business. You might be experiencing some challenges with your family. So
Okay.
now you're bringing this energy, this sort of challenging energy into these three different clients in the stage where you are in your life. So I am going to go into what is happening in your life, what is happening in your personal life, in your house of work, relationships, home, family, that is triggering and that is making you project this lack of trust, right? So
Got it.
I want to get into your history, what is happening, what is the real reason that you're
Mhm.
feeling this way? Why are your clients not trusting?
Trust.
What is it that you are projecting? What is it that you are unconsciously presenting to them that they don't want to trust you?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to be an inside job, right? It's you. And as designers, if you are projecting insecurities,
Mhm.
if you feel like you're not good enough to design
Mhm.
for this client, that's going to come across.
And they're not gonna trust you because 'cause you're not in the driver's seat.
No, they're
Right.
not because
Right.
they can see it, they can sense it.
Yes. Yes.
Another thing is when you are with a client that you need that client, right? You need
Mm.
that business. You
Mhm.
need that business in order for you to pay yourself,
Payroll, your yeah.
your team, right?
Yeah.
There's a different energy that you
It's a
bring.
desperation.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
client can sense it. They can sense that you're
Mm.
pushing, that you want this project, that you need to be chosen for this project. So
Mm.
it creates a level of distrust, right? Like,
Yeah.
something
Why
is
is she
off
so
about.
hungry? Why is she so thirsty? Or why is he so thirsty?
And
Yeah.
we also have to think about people have intuition.
Yes, everybody,
Right.
everybody.
So
Yeah,
is the client might be sensing something is off
yeah, yeah.
with this designer. It could be they might not know what that is,
Mhm. It's a
but
feeling.
yeah, it's a feeling.
Yeah,
But then you and I are working. What is it that you are creating that is activating that feeling within them?
got it. Amazing.
You see, it's the back
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
It's the byproduct is the distrust. There's something
yes.
off. The root cause of that, it's what's happening to you that
Mhm,
you are projecting when you're sending that energy and that frequency to that client that is creating like this, like, oh, something is off
mhm.
here.
It works both ways. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. And drum roll, because we've reached the sixth one. Now, I
We
wanna be
did
clear here.
good.
So we did real good. This one, I talked about this in one of my talks that I did for ASID to designers, and this one actually came from an interior designer that came up to me after the talk and said, "Oh my god, the triggers that you mentioned that your friend had told you about are amazing. I need to add one more." And I said, "Oh, okay. Like, what is it?" I was like, "Hasani knows everything. What else could there possibly be?"
Stop it there. Para ahí, que eso no es la verdad.
In my mind. So she said this is pretty obvious. You can elaborate or not, but she said, This also goes deep too, actually." And yeah, if you are working with a female head of household, she may feel guilty or bad that she can't design the home for her family and she takes it out on you. So that's touching on so many things. And I guess it doesn't have to be female. It could also be male, probably more female, but it could also be any head of household that's in charge of making the home for the family, right? We don't have to be gender specific.
But let's be gender specific.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Buckle up, buckle up.
Let's be gender specific because there is an enormous amount of expectation for the woman that is the head of household, right? Let's talk, let's keep it real here. Okay.
Let's
Let's be
keep it real.
transparent. Let's
Let's
create
keep
trust in this
we always do. We always
right.
do.
Well,
So,
let's create trust in this conversation,
yeah.
right? Let's talk about it, right? We as women, we have been conditioned culturally, socially, religiously. We need to meet these expectations, right?
Yeah.
Comes to the household, whether we have been domesticated or not, there is a script that we follow. It's this like hidden script that we follow that no matter how freaking modern and progressive and
And
liberal,
free and
conservative, breed,
yeah.
whatever you want to call yourself or whatever you identify yourself as, there's an invisible script that we follow as women. And when it comes to the invisible script, it's
Mm.
very connected to home.
Okay. Keep going
And the reason why is because mothers raise us
for the
for the
most
most
part. Yep.
I'm
Yes.
talking about general, and mothers tend to have full control of their home. They
Mhm.
design their home, they buy the furniture, they are
Mhm.
responsible for making the home beautiful because their partners, that's not their thing. And it could be
Er,
in any type of relationship, right?
okay. Okay. So it's not necessarily a traditional one where the man is out working and the woman is the home person. It could also be the woman. I think this is what you're getting at. It can also be when the woman is out working and is also expected to maintain and be the head of the household,
Absolutely.
right?
It's
Because
everything.
that dual expectation is not just in the situation where the woman is in charge of the household and the man's out working. Because generally, what it is nowadays, the woman is working too and dealing with the household. That
And the
part.
kids, there's kids involved,
That's
right?
what I'm
So
saying. Yeah.
yeah. So what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you is like, and I'm gonna just break it down into like very simple terms because we're talking about that lawyer, we're talking
Yeah.
about that
Mm.
founder, we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
that business owner, we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
the CEO of her home, like that woman that is like runs her home.
Yep.
She was the domestic labor, the emotional labor of the house. I'm talking about at every level of working, right? Whether it's a
Yeah.
high position, whatever that is. For me, every job that we do is meaningful and it has
Yeah.
value. So then now you have, again, I want to bring it back to the beginning of this conversation. There's just so many more people entering hiring designers now
Mm.
with budgets that they want to just update their home. So now they have the access, the financial access to hire that designer. Now they want to be able to collaborate and co-create.
Mhm.
They're honestly hiring you to be a thought partner, to be a
Mm.
collaborator,
Mhm.
a teacher,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A teacher, and then also an equal,
Right. Right. Yeah.
right?
Right. Because 'Cause they're the head of household, they're in charge, they can do this too, they just need some extra help.
Exactly.
Right. But then also to the point that we might trigger somebody in this position, I do think that it could be potentially frustrating for somebody that's head of household and can't put a room together. But then the fact that they would lash out at a designer because they feel less than and they're coming to you for help, it's fucked up, but it's also just very apparent. Like I can see it. Like if this is my job to create my home for my family and man, I can't do it and I gotta bring somebody in to help me, then who am I?
100%.
Right?
But again, you also think about the history. Maybe the mother never hired a designer to design their home. It was designed by the caretaker, the mother,
Mm,
whoever it is that they were brought up with. So now they're breaking that pattern. They're breaking that
mm,
cycle. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. My mom was a cleaning lady. I have a difficult time hiring a cleaning person,
mhm.
right? Because even though I can create an economic opportunity for a person to come and clean my apartment, I don't feel comfortable bringing a cleaning lady into my home. But that is my work. That is
Right,
my work because
right.
I know what's going to happen if I bring a cleaning lady into my apartment.
What's
I'm
gonna
going to be
happen?
right after her, telling her how she needs to clean my apartment, right?
I'm sure a lot of designers feel that way.
But
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you see,
Yeah, I got you, I got you. Yeah, that
so
was a
if now,
perfect example.
so now if let's say that I am going to hire someone that's going to clean, oh, they're gonna hear it. They're
Yeah.
going to have to deal with me. And that's why I don't hire one because I know the work that I have to do to get
Yeah,
to the point of hiring
yeah.
someone that's gonna come and clean my home. And I'm going to be completely okay and surrender to that help. And that's
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's incredible that you're that self-aware, that you don't put that person into that situation. Not everybody is that self-aware, and so designers get into situations where they're dealing with the back end of that. So, I mean,
yeah,
kudos to
but
you for
I'm
having that
also
self-awareness.
yeah, but that doesn't help me, Gala, because now I have to clean my house all the time. I mean, I don't do it alone. My husband also cleans and the kids and the place. But girl, I could use the help.
You could. Alright, we'll work on that. We'll work on that this year. I can help you with that.
Well, but you can see it. You can see it. This is my
I can,
blind
yeah.
spot, right? This is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my pain
I
points,
love that.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it happens to me too. And
yeah,
I can use the
yeah.
support, but I'm not ready.
Okay, good. At least you know where you stand, you know? Okay, so we are at the end of this magnificent conversation that again, I hope helps interior designers and clients alike. Any parting words? I just want to thank you for coming on here, for sharing the magnificence that's you and the wisdom that I get for myself because you're my bestie. But now to be able to share it with this audience, I'm so excited that they get to see you and hear you and all of your wisdom. And thank you. And anything else you want to say to wrap it up?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for having me and hyping me up. And then also for the work that you do. Thank you for bringing this awareness to your community. I think it's important that we need to be expanders in whichever
Yeah.
way that we can. Whatever message, whatever wisdom we carry, I think it's important that we share for those who need to hear it and get from the message. So, what I would say to your community, to designers, is be your authentic self, build trust within yourself. Don't bring baggage into your clients. Do the
Mm,
inner work that you need to do to be better, to be a master in your craft, and the work is not only beauty and design, but it's also psychological, mental, and emotional and spiritual, right?
mm,
So I think that if your community and designers can connect with all of these filters, they can actually show up very different and much more powerful
Yeah.
in their power rather than from a position of fear. So that's my message to all of you.
I always say that being an interior designer is not just the technical and the certifications. It's the more inner work that you do on yourself and the better you take care of yourself, the better you're going to be able to serve, the better leader you're going to be, and all of that. So, with that, if people wanted to work with you, get coached by you, you have an amazing studio in Washington Heights where you host amazing workshops. Where can my people find you? What's the best way to get in touch or check you out or listen more?
You can definitely, if anybody wants to reach out to me or have any questions, you can reach out to me at HasaniReyes.com. That's my website. I'm sure Gala is going to link it
Yep.
somewhere so then you don't have
You
to
know it.
try to write it down so fast.
And
And
what's your Insta?
my Instagram is Hasani underscore Mama Vida. So I'm sure God is going to put that on too. So you don't have to like
You
rush it into
you
writing.
know I will, but, everything helps, everything helps. Thank you so much, mama. I love you, and may this help everybody live happier and in less pain and less stress.
Girl, that's what we do. We need
That's
to.
it. That's it.
Okay. Sending love to you. Un beso.
Peace.